Hey everyone, I'm Jordan, personal trainer of It's On Fitness, and in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about mental health within fitness, like body image, under-eating, overeating, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got my green tea and my snacks because it's probably going to be quite a chatty video. Okay, so yes, mental health within kind of like a fitness context, or more about like diet, exercise type, and how they mix in with mental health. So yeah, over the last 10 years I've struggled with, like eating disorders, poor body image, low self-esteem. I mean, still being real, I have blips now sometimes on various aspects of that, but overall I have come leaps and bounds from the girl that was crying multiple times a week just because you step on the scale like half a pound heavier, starving myself to the point sometimes where I wouldn't even drink enough water because that made me heavier on the scale. And yes, that is worrying when I think back, and I did do that. So yeah, anyway, my backstory is for another time because that'll be a very long video. But yeah, so there's several things that I've learned along the way, and throughout the 10 years that I've, to current day basically, that I've been having different problems. Fitness has been with me throughout that, but the more I have learned about fitness, to obviously the point where now I'm a qualified personal trainer, I have learned to use it for good. Not want to sound like a superhero or anything, but yeah, I've learned that exercise and food are not just a tool for getting your weight down. They go much beyond that, and they can really add to your life if you're having the right perspective on them, and if you're using them in a positive way. That's what I mean. So yes, I asked on my Instagram, Facebook stories for you guys' thoughts, opinions, questions on this topic, and there was two main areas that kind of arose. So I thought we would cover those in today's video. So I'm just going to have some tea. Right, so number one was where to start within fitness, food wise and everything, when you're just a beginner and you maybe have quite low self-esteem about your own fitness abilities, or about your weight or the amount of muscle you have or whatever. So yeah, where to start? Because I had people contacting saying that it's really overwhelming, especially if you don't feel like someone who's fit, or in your mind you don't think you look like someone who is fit. So you're like worried to go in a gym, or you're worried to do this, or there's so much conflicting information out there all the time about diet and exercise that it's literally insane how much can be thrown at you all at once when you're just starting. And that can be made even more difficult if you don't feel so good about yourself. So we will cover that now. So yeah, when you have low self-esteem, you obviously, if it's really crippling, just counselling. I've been to counselling and it really helps. But if you're just trying to, if you don't feel like it's that severe, but you feel like you need a bit of help just to get going, then you can try some of these tips. So yeah, when you have low self-esteem, you often feel like you're not good enough, you can't really do anything, and you think, well, what's the point of going to the gym, because I won't just keep going, or I can't even go in the first place because everyone will be looking at me and I don't even look fit, people will be judging me, people are going to think I look stupid, I don't know what I'm doing, so I might as well not start. That's pretty much what it's like. Or you're like me and you just value your entire worth is based on me in the past. Your entire worth is based on basically your fitness abilities and or what you look like and or how much you weigh. And then anytime you don't achieve one tiny little thing, so anytime you don't lose that half a pound that you said you were going to lose, or anytime you eat that one extra bit of food, you just fly off the wagon and you're like, well, that's it. Yep, I knew I wasn't good at anything. I knew I couldn't do this. I knew I was just going to be like unfit forever. And then, yeah, that doesn't help your self-esteem. So, things you can do in this circumstance is, of course, the age-old thing of just thinking about yourself as if they were someone else. So, for example, if your sister came to you, or your brother, or your mum, or your friend, and they said, oh, I want to start going to the gym because I want to get a bit fitter, you'd be like, oh, that's fantastic for you, that's really good. Like, do you want me to come with you so you don't feel so nervous at first? Or, you know, oh, I saw this really good article about this thing that might help you. Or, oh, yeah, you know, like, you're going to do really well. You wouldn't go, well, I don't know why you're bothering with that, because basically you're going to give up after like a day. So there's not much point. So you're just going to waste your money and, you know, you're basically useless anyway. So don't really bother. Like, you just wouldn't. And if you did, then you're a bit evil. So, yeah, you just would not talk to someone else like that. My internal mind chatter, or the way I talk to myself internally, has made me cry on countless occasions. Would I do that to someone else? Have I ever, 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 ever talked to someone else in a way that's reduced them to tears? No, I haven't, and I don't plan on it. And now, obviously, from a PT mindset, I think about, like, if I came to myself as a client, I'd be like, oh, you're in such a good starting place for achieving this, this, and this, like all the things I want to do, and like, yeah, you've got the energy, you know, you can do great, you've got the drive, you can work really hard, you're good at listening, you're like quick at learning. Like, I'd say all those things. I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you're basically shit, might as well give up now. I just wouldn't say that. But that's what I tell myself internally sometimes. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult, but you really have to, like, imagine that you're saying these things to other people. Really have to imagine it. So yeah, that's number one. And sometimes, one of my counsellors taught me this, which is very helpful, is sometimes if you are thinking loads of horrible things, like you're in a bit of a brain fog about trying to start something new, and as I say, it's all getting a bit overwhelming. You're like, oh, grab a bit of paper, draw a little character. So I draw an angry little woman with like crazy hair, and then you draw all the speech bubbles coming out from that. So, like, you know, you're useless, you won't achieve this, or you might as well not start, or why are you so confused, it's not even that difficult, or just whatever's going around in here. And you draw it all around this little character, and you can give this character a name. I think mine was like Crazy Bertha or something. I don't, nothing against anyone called Bertha, just that's what it was. And yeah, so just whack it all down, and then you literally, you can stamp on it, you can rip it up, whatever helps you. Sorry, I can talk quite a lot, my throat is a bit dry. So yeah, just rip it up. Some people burn it, but like fire hazards, just be careful. Yeah, and then take out that anger and that frustration that you've got internally, externalize it, and make it into something that's not, like, Crazy Bertha is not me, she's not a part of me, so we just bin her and get rid of her. And then sometimes it can help think a bit more clearly. And then when we're thinking a bit more clearly, when we're in a better mindset, then we can start on new things. Like, as I said, people saying about they want to start an exercise program, but self-esteem is low, or want to start a new diet, but just confused by everything out there. So yeah, but don't try and start things when you're in a bad mindset, because you will not make the best decisions. And then, of course, if you're not making the best decisions, you probably won't do very well, probably make you feel bad, all the way back to number one, and the cycle repeats. So yeah, get yourself in a better headspace. And then, main thing, very simple, small goals. Okay, so when you're on Instagram or when you're flicking through wherever, you're going to see like, oh, I work out like 5 times a week. I do like 3 days for my glutes, and then like upper body day, and then I do push pull legs, and then like this is how many macros I have, and you know, I eat this many calories a day and follow my program or whatever. All of that you just need to bin. And you definitely, main thing, as I said, is small goals. Don't take on like loads at once, because you will not succeed, because it's too much to take on, especially at the beginning. And that's not me like saying you can't do it, because you probably could, but it's going to be a lot of stress and a lot of shock to the body, and you should do things progressively. So yeah, small goals. So the person I was talking to or messaging about this, I was saying, checking, number one thing, are you getting enough sleep? Because not getting enough sleep can properly mess up your hormones, how you feel, can make you way more negative, put you in a bad headspace, everything. And a lot of people have quite up and down sleep patterns. Have really up and down sleep patterns, and it's just quite terrible. Obviously, if you're on shift work, you can't really help it. Then you can try and work around that. Basically, try maybe like switching off your phone like half an hour before bed, or something like that, just so you can ease yourself into sleep. Or if you're going to bed at like 2 a.m, try and gradually over the weeks bring it back by half an hour, and like that, or half an hour each week, I mean, or like 10 minutes each week, whatever you can do. That should be your first thing to sort out. That's your first like health and fitness aim, is getting the regular amount of sleep that you need. Because if you're lacking in energy, if you're feeling bad about yourself, if you might be struggling to lose weight as well, like all of these things are connected to sleep. So if that's not right, get that sorted first. Don't try and chuck in 5 days of exercise a week, eating a certain number of calories, not eating this, not eating that. No, don't do that. Just get your sleep right first, and that will make you feel a lot better. And as I said about switching the phone off, like whatever helps you relax. You might want to take a shower or a bath before bed. I personally, I download an app called Headspace, or I use guided meditations on YouTube, like called The Honest Guys. And I don't sit there for like 2 hours doing really spiritual, deep meditation. It's great if you can, or if you do, that's like perfect. But I just do literally about 5 to 10 minutes worth of video, and that's it. I just lie there with my eyes closed, trying to just listen to the track, trying to just hear what they're saying, and trying not to think about like everything that's happened today, or everything that's happened in my entire life, or everything I'm not good at, or whatever. Just trying to get rid of all of that and just calm down. And that's helped me sleep a bit easier, because I'm not going to bed thinking about too many things at once. And sometimes if I've got lots to do tomorrow, I jot it all down and then I go to bed. So yeah, sleep is number 1 on your list. Get that sorted, and then you move on to your next small goal. So as I say, let's talk about some small goals you might have at the start. So it might be to get in a half an hour walk 3 times a week. That doesn't sound like a lot. Most people would be like, oh, well, that's not enough. Like, if I can't do any more than that, then like whatever, I'm not good enough, or I can't, what's the point? No. Small goals, because half an hour walk 3 times a week, I would say, is achievable for the majority of people. And that's a good goal to have. So same as another goal is, are you drinking enough water? Are you staying hydrated enough? Try and get your 5 to 6 glasses of water a day. Or if you're drinking a lot of fizzy drinks, try and change some of them into water. I don't mean like some miracle work. I mean like, don't drink those. Drink some water. Maybe just have one of those and the rest are water. Or it might be like, are you eating enough fruit and veg? Are you on like 1 portion a day, when you could try and make it 3 portions a day? And then after a couple of weeks, once you're getting your 3 portions every day, just up the challenge a little bit, 5 portions a day. Because one of the things with low self-esteem is you think you can't do things. And if you go and set grand goals that are like flipping immense, I mean, you can have a grand goal, that's fine, but we're going to break it down into tiny little goals and get there. So if you have a massive goal, like you basically want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger by the end of the month, then it's not going to happen. It's just not. That takes so much more work and so many more years of work. So don't say you want to lose like 5 stone this year. Like, you may well, and that, good on you if that's what you want to do and that's what makes you feel healthier. Just don't do that. Don't set yourself that huge goal right at the start of your journey. Set little ones, and then you are constantly getting little boosts. Constantly, all the time. Every week you're getting another little boost for your self-esteem because you've managed to drink a bit more water, you've managed to have less fizzy drinks, you've managed to have, less alcohol, or you've managed to not eat 4 bars of chocolate every day. You've just managed to eat only 3 bars of chocolate every day. So yeah, they're small, and people, your internal mind might be like, oh, well, you haven't done that much. It's not that big a goal, but it's a goal and you have achieved it. And constantly getting those little boosts, those little positive reinforcements will really up your mental health and alongside and your self-esteem, and alongside things like you're actually getting more sleep, you're actually staying more hydrated. All of these will make your body feel physically better. And then you can start to add in, like, maybe you want to start at the gym. So you start going just once a week. Just once a week, you want to do a full body workout at the gym. And when you achieve that week after week, then you're like, oh, yeah, no, there's a new exercise class I want to try. So I'm going to go to that as well. And that's how you build it up. Same with food. As I said, just start with, like, are you getting enough water? Are you getting your enough veg? And then you can be like, oh, well, instead of maybe white bread all the time, I'm going to have a little bit of wholemeal sometimes. Just get the little, the bit of extra fibre, whatever. And then you can gradually build it up. And then if you get to the point, you'll have quite a healthy diet. And then if you want to lose a little bit of weight, if that's what you want to do personally to make yourself a little bit feel better for whatever reason, then you can just, tweak your calories a little bit. But you won't be, going straight in, trying to fix everything at once. So yeah, how to start when you feel overwhelmed and have low self-esteem. Get yourself into a better headspace. And then start setting small goals and gradually add those up, and then you'll be at a point where you're much closer to maybe a large goal. So yeah, that's my tips for those. And then the second thing that was put to me, this was more like like comments people were making rather than specifically a question, but I just thought I'd talk about it anyway, was comparing your current body to past pictures of yourself and wishing you can go back or wishing you can look like that again. Like, you might have been really strong at one point, but then, I don't know, various things might have happened in your life, or you might have fallen out of love with training, whatever, and then now you don't have as much muscle as you did. Or you might have been very, like, slight or very slim, and now you might be, like, classed as overweight or anything. And you look back and you think, oh, I wish I looked like that. But did you really love what you used to do? Were you truly happy in your previous body? Because I used to weigh about 2 stone or just over 2 stone less than I do now. I was approaching on almost being like the upper end of 6 stone at one point, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't thin enough then for what I wanted. I was like, in my mind, I wanted to get to the point where I was so thin that I didn't ever have to worry about, people looking at me and thinking I was big. And that's quite a sad thought, really, isn't it? That's quite sad. I don't mean that in a pathetic way, but like depressing. That's quite depressing. That's used to be my view. I just wanted to get so thin that I didn't have to think about what anyone ever thought, because I'd be so thin, so no one could ever say that I was big. And like, what's that wrong with being a bit bigger? I mean, I'm 2 stone heavier now and I'm happier than I was. So look back and think, were you really happy? Like, would you really want, like, because it's not just a body, is it? It's everything that encompasses that all at the same time. So yeah, if you weren't really happy, then you don't need it back, do you? Like if I went back to that, I'm going back to being hungry all the time, tired, angry, or just stroppy with everyone. Like terrible skin. Um, my hair wasn't as like everything was just bad, and my whole brain just revolved around my weight. The whole thing. First thing I thought about at night. First thing I thought about in the morning. Last thing I thought about at night. Weighing myself like 6 times a day. The whole day consumed by that for years. So no, I don't. You know, like what exactly makes you want to look like that again, as well? So say if you were happier when you look back in that picture, that was a happier time in your life. You were happy with your body, and then now you're not. Okay, so you want to make progress, but we can never go back. We can't undo things that have been done. And also, as we age and as we change, our body changes, and that's something you have to accept. Same as maybe if you've had a baby and your body has changed, or you've now got like an amazing another human being. Your body's not quite the same as it was, but I can guarantee you probably weren't over the moon with it before anyway, because most people have things they want to change. So start looking forward and think about everything you have in your life now that you didn't have when those pictures were taken, or all of those kind of things, like the ways you've grown, the ways you've learned, the ways you've matured, and start thinking forward. Start thinking how you don't want to beat those pictures in terms of your body shape. You want to beat those pictures in terms of how happy you are, or how fulfilled you feel, or how good you feel, how positive you feel. That's what you want to aim for. So, so other things in terms of like um, so even like athletes, you think about like them, they can never go back to their previous progress. You can only their past. You can only progress. So start thinking about yourself like that. Like as I mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier in the video, like he doesn't look like he did when he won all his bodybuilding competitions. He can never go back because that's what happened in the past. His body has aged, it's changed, but he's kept up his fitness. He obviously still looks like amazing for his age, and probably still amazing in general. And yeah, but you think about other ways he's influenced people, the ways he's helped people, the ways he's brought people into the sport, all those kind of things. That's how you have to see him now, and that's how you have to see yourself. You can look back at all the things you've achieved or what you've done, and it's brilliant. But try looking forward. You don't need to just be. You don't need to try and go back because you're never gonna. So accept and progress, and that's sometimes difficult, but that's the only thing that you can do. So view it all as opportunities coming forward, not looking back and thinking you want to be something different. So yeah, that's probably my main advice on that, or ways that I've tried to look at things. But also, one last thing to consider when you are looking back at pictures of yourself is like, get to the root cause of why you want something as well. That's really important. So if I look back at pictures of myself when I was, or like, I don't so much now because I genuinely don't want to go back to that. But obviously some people might look back at pictures of themselves and they want to go back. But why do you want to go back? I say get to that proper root cause and then evaluate that. Sit and like deeply think about what is stemming from that. So for an example, like I tried to prepare myself for a bodybuilding competition once, and it's not something I'm going to write off doing in the future again, but my mental space was not right when I tried to do that, and my self-esteem was really low, so I was just comparing myself to others constantly, or comparing myself to pictures of me when I thought I was leaner, and I was like, well, I don't even look like that anymore, I can't do it, blah 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 blah. But I look back on the pictures and I was really lean. I was fine, I was ready to compete, I wouldn't have looked out of place, all of that stuff, but I didn't compete in the end because my mental space got me to a point where I was crying every single day about what I looked like, and I just felt so low, and I thought, I don't want my life to be like this anymore, so I need to stop and change. But yeah, that was my mindset. But yeah, so I look back on those pictures and I'm like, oh my god, I was so lean. So when I look back and I think, oh, there's two ways I might be thinking about things. So I might look back and go, oh, you know what? My mental health is in so much of a better place now. I don't only value myself for, my leanness, and I would like the challenge of competing again, but I just need to do it in a different way. I need to keep better watch on my mental health and monitor it, because obviously low calories and things like, or lower calories, losing body fat does get to you, and there are hard days for that kind of thing, and you would have to just accept that, but take much better care of my mental health. Or I could be looking back at it and be like, oh yeah, I just want to be smaller because, like people might compliment my leanness, or I just want the attention, or oh, I'm just so big now, and oh, I just don't look like I used to. And so if you're thinking about that positive side of things, like you want to challenge yourself, you want to compete in your triathlete again, but when you were in your triathlete or triathlon, when you were training for your triathlon, you were a bit smaller, and you want to get back to feeling like that, feeling your competitive thing, feeling at your peak, looking a bit leaner. Like, that's okay. That's like an aesthetic performance type goal, and I would say that there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to be dedicated to fitness. It's okay to put quite a lot of effort and energy into it. But if you're just looking back and thinking, oh, I just want to be skinnier because we're all kind of brainwashed into thinking that that's better, then just really sit down and think, is your self-esteem just low, and you're trying to validate it by what is traditionally known as validation. So same as, like, people might think, oh, I want to be richer because that'll make me feel better. Sorry, size limit reached on video. Yeah, so are you just trying to validate yourselves with things that are quite empty, like being skinnier, or having more wealth, all those kind of things? Are you trying to validate yourself by those things that are basically meaningless, because it's just being a nice person and trying to give care to others, and others caring about you, all those kind of things? That's what will make you feel good, and none of them are related to your weight, none of them are related to your health, none of them are related to anything. You can be a good person and have like the world's worst diet and never exercise, and you can still be an absolutely lovely, cared for, amazing person. So you don't need to just be skinnier to be worth more, or more muscly to be worth more, or anything. So yeah, if you're thinking that those are the root causes for what you are desiring, just cut it off. Just cut it. You don't need it. You don't need it. If you just want to be skinnier because it's seen as like a good thing in society or whatever, no. If you want to be a lighter weight or more muscular or something for an aspirational goal, like something you want to achieve, like as I say, to be able to enter a competition or do something like that for your own enjoyment, or you might want to be getting fitter so you can play with your kids more, you can play football with your kids in the park or things like that. They are good reasons to try and progress but not go back. So that's the main thing. You cannot go back. So look for ways you can make yourself happier, healthier, be a better person going forward. And that's my tip on when you're looking back and you're comparing yourself at photos. It's quite a long tip, wasn't it? But yeah, so that pretty much rounds off today's video. Sorry it's gone on a bit long. It's probably been about half an hour. Like, oh my god, very long. But yeah, hopefully it helped. If anyone has any other comments, questions, thoughts, like, please post them to me. This is a topic I feel quite passionate on, as you can probably tell, because of all the things I have been through or thought about myself. So yeah, please post your comments, DM me, whatever you want to do. But thank you for listening, and I hope it helped a bit. Bye.